All right, you should get a notification. Yeah, you can just stay like screen off if you want to. All right, I think just a quick introduction to Nana Labs and who we are. I'm just going to share like just a really brief intro to Nana Labs. I'll share screen here also. Nana Labs partnership. All right. Yeah, so if you cannot see my screen, just let me know. Just speak up, just message as well. Okay. Right. So for those who are new to Nana Labs, I'm gonna go through all the slides. But basically, we are a registered. Okay, yep, this one. So we are a registered youth society with the Registrar of Youth of the Malaysian government. So what we do is AI literacy programs. Last week, in fact, we just did like this program with YB Michelle Ng from the Selangor state government to do like this B40 program for like B40 kids from a USJ area. So that's the kind of activities that we do. We widen access to AI literacy for especially those who are left behind. Okay. And definitely also, we have had this social media presence. This is from like February, so it's quite outdated. Yeah, and also we do hands-on workshops as well. Mostly it's online because we hope to expand our access for more people who are like not in like KL CBD area, like what away, because we also have members from Kuching, Malacca, other cities as well. Right, and we also do collaborations with companies. For example, Moment did a workshop with us. They are from San Francisco, so they flew into Malaysia to do an in-person workshop together. Right, and just our team, and this is not everyone actually. So we have been expanding ever since as well, getting more and more people inside as well. Yep, so we are also expanding to other places in Malaysia, other universities. And in fact, this week, we're having an event this coming Thursday in Malacca. So partnering with UTEM, University Technical Malaysia, to do like gatherings together and share about the latest developments in AI. So that's the kind of things that we do. All right, so that's it. Okay, I'll share the next one as well, just a quick one. Yeah, so if you haven't, wait, yep, you can see. Okay, so anyone can't see my screen, just let me know. Right, so anyone who hasn't like followed us on social media, LinkedIn, IG, these are the two main platforms that we use like to broadcast our like events. Yeah, if you're not part of us yet, feel free to join us. We also have a WhatsApp community. For Discord, we also use it. It's usually for hackathons. Like this week right now that we're doing Chutes Hack Malaysia. Yeah, so that's the kind of events that we do. Follow us to stay updated about what we do and to get to know us more about like what we do that is different from other communities. In the end, like we all support each other. We are all doing this for free. We are a charity. So this is all for everyone's benefit. All right. Okay. Now I'll just start with just a quick presentation. Okay, sharing screen again. All right. Introduction to agentic AI. And I'm not sure if anyone can guess this, but at first glance, right, it doesn't look like it's like professional or like that sleek or something. But I'm using this slide deck because this was actually done in a few minutes with .cowork integration with Canva. So what I did was I used a few prompts to generate this slide deck. So this is just the first slide. It's not perfect, as you can see here. But what I want to show you all is that this is an example of what we can actually already achieve with the current AI tools. But definitely some are still at the premium. So Cloud Cowork, it comes with the Pro subscription, which is like $20 per month. But then if you're willing to invest in these tools, it can really upgrade and boost your productivity every day. So I really recommend it actually, Cloud Cowork. Okay, so I didn't bother to make further edits in the slides to show you guys what's the kind of like the initial version when you first prompt it, right? And then the design you get from Cloud Cowork. And even the content itself as well, what I did was generate like a slide deck for a quick introduction to agentic AI using content from the latest sources, the latest news in the industry. So that's the kind of like context that I gave to thought co-work. And along the way, as you look through the slides, you will see and evaluate for yourself like the kind of quality, like where thought co-work stands in comparison with what you already have right now, like manually editing slides, creating slides in Canva. And definitely there's still some way to go for thought co-work, but then it's really, really powerful enough right now to be a co-worker for us humans. So firstly, when it comes to agentic AI, definitely there's some important things that and keywords that we need to know. And definitely the first thing about agents is that it's something proactive. So there is this kind of like transition that Jensen Huang from NVIDIA mentioned about, and he keeps mentioning. At first, we had this wave called predictive AI, right? That's where data science, right, was like a trend. Like it was really like a hot bandwagon. People jumped in and, could get like really high paying jobs, right? Data scientists. So that was still like the era of Hugging Face. Not sure if anyone heard of Hugging Face before, but that's like a library, open source library of different models for ML, machine learning. So use it for data science, for like predicting trends in data analytics. So that was predictive AI. And after that, we have generative AI, right? So that's when ChatGPT came in at first. And then after that, all these models, DeepSeek and all, it's just a chatbot kind of interaction. You chat and you get an answer. But then that's not powerful enough, right? It was still reactive. You had to prompt the chatbot first in order to get an answer. And the answer is just text. It's just LM language. You can't do something else like do actual things for you, or even robots like doing physical tasks. And so that's when agentic AI came in. So people usually say last year, 2025, right? It was the year of agentic AI. And this year, it's the year of physical AI. It's about robots. So we went from predictive to generative to agentic and then physical. Physical AI, I would say, it's not really like it comes after agentic AI, but then it's like they go hand in hand together because we are seeing developments in these two areas at the same time. And physical AI is actually also kind of like, you can think of it as like the physical version of agents. They are essentially agents, but then they handle real world tasks, physical tasks. They don't just stay inside the computer. And what they have in common, right? Agentic AI, physical AI, right? Basically, it's all about being proactive over here. So they actually do something for you. You give a task for it, and then it reasons through the task. It automates what it has to do on its own. And definitely, hi, NP. All right. Yeah. And definitely, you can also enable human-in-the-loop approvals. We'll see this later on in the slides, which is very important if you want to make sure that your agent is doing the right thing and not like just anyhow crashing your files. Okay. And when it comes to agents, it's always the standard format. So there's something called the agentic loop. Actually, in fact, I will just make it React loop first. The React loop. So when you look through like any perhaps like basics to agentic AI, you will come across this word really often, React. So React is basically two things, reason and act. I don't know why they just combine to the word React because sometimes I don't know, like it might be confusing. Like you might confuse this with React.js, which is a front-end coding framework, like for websites, like web development. But these two words, right, are different, right? React.js and this agentic React loop. So the capital A, right, where you see this React, this word React, right, it refers to reason and act for agents. So basically, the agent has two parts, right? Just think of it as like brain and the hands and feet. Every agent, right, they need a brain. They need to reason first. You give it a model, and you can choose your own model, like GPT 5.5, Opus, Sonnet, QN, DeepSeek. Give it a brain, right? Give it a brain, connect through an API key in your code. So that's the reason part. So let it think through an answer, and then once it has an answer, right, it doesn't stop there. So that's where chatbots stop, right? Chatbots just think and then give you an answer. But then for agents, they don't just stop at an answer. Then after that, they act. They act on the answer. So depending on the tools you give the agent, later we'll see later as well what these tools refer to, right? So they use these tools to do something in real world. So maybe like some changes on the website, or like navigate through website, buy something. So something that is actually realistic, something practical, not just thinking anymore. And so they perceive, they plan, they act, and reflect. And now we reach the tools. So every agent, right, they need the hands and the feet. And so this is where the tools come in. It's not just the brain, but it's also the hands and the feet. So the tools can be many, many different things. Just like this slide deck, right? I created this in a few minutes. Why it's possible? It's because one of the tools that I give it is Canva integration. And this is through MCP. We'll see what is MCP later on. But basically, once I connect Canva to my Claude, right? Canva becomes like this whole enabling factor. It gives my agent, right, my Claude, the power to create slides, right? All these designs in a few minutes in one go. And so Canva is one of its tools. And there are also other examples where like it could also be your Google Docs also, Google Docs, Google Drive, all these files and folders, right? You give it access and it can like write files for you, edit the theme, edit the format, the styles. And not just that, but what's actually even more popular now, it's actually coding tools, IDE, Cursor, right? Cursor, and also Codex, Hot Code. All these are also tools for them. You give them all these tools to write your code. So these are also tools. And also something more technical as well. So whenever we give our agents tools, right, you want to make sure that things are accurate. Things can be traced as well. So every input, every output, everything is tracked. And so you need to have structured output as well. But this is something more technical already. And also definitely the schema. So it's actually all related. Why schema is actually basically the structure of answering the structure of the output. So this is actually all part of the structure output section. And then you have the brain, you have the tools, and number three, what do you need to have for agents to work? And that's definitely memory. So actually, I also prepared the code base to see all this in action, but we'll go through this later using NanoLab's GitHub code base. For now, we'll just go through the slides first. So memory is the part three, the number three thing that you need to have for agents. They can do so many things, right? But then when you want to let the agent keep on doing things, right, especially the same task, right, day after day, but you need to change just like few things or something, it forgets what was its task last night or yesterday or last week because it doesn't have the memory. And so memory is a very important concept in agents. You need to let the agent remember its tasks and your conversations with the agent. So all the prompts, right, they must be stored somewhere inside some database, and then the agent can access this database to read through the previous prompts and what the agent itself answered. Then it can improve on its response, on its actions. All right, so all these things are actually quite technical, so don't need to go through them. Basically, just understand the concept of having memory for the agent. We'll see later on inside the actual code, right? I'll show you the code later, how this memory is actually implemented. Okay, and then also persona. So this is number four, the fourth important thing for agents. So we have brain, we have the tools, we have the memory. But then what is it supposed to do? Who is this agent supposed to be? And that's why maybe you have seen this before also. We also call this role, like give it a role, give it the context. So context is actually the memory and this persona. So whenever we prompt an agent, right, or even a chatbot also, when you want to get the best answer, right, you tell the agent that, hey, you are my best secretary, you are my expert graphic designer, you are my professional, I don't know, race driver, F1 driver, I don't know. So you can just give it a role, like just praise it, like literally, right? Wow, like just stand the agent, like just tell the agent, right, wow, how good you are, like you're the best, I don't know, the best artist, best computer scientist in the world. And it's actually very effective because the agent then knows the context that it's supposed to work in, the kind of knowledge that it's supposed to have. So it can scale down its kind of like working area into that particular context you want it to be in. And it would then execute the task you want it to do very effectively. So another word for its persona, right? Role, persona. So this kind of character. We'll see later also how this persona is actually implemented in code in a very simple initial way in Python. Okay, and then lastly, part 5. Whenever we deploy agents, it's also something very important nowadays to have ourselves, right, us humans, to be in the loop and approve the action first before they do something. So a lot of these the content inside here are quite technical, but basically it's like before the agent does something, it will ask us, like maybe in our terminal, right, if it's like some production app, to ask whether it can proceed with some action. We can also turn this off as well if after some time we think that it's doing really a good job. So we don't need any more like intervention, or else like just wasting our own time. So this is human in loop approvals. Okay, and this is actually perhaps more relevant to businesses already, like people who want to monitor their agents, audit trails. You come across this word also, I think especially in news, because there were cases also in the past, right, where some people just, ran their agents like haywire, and then like they went berserk and deleted their files in their computers. So it's actually related to human in the loop also, but also it's like we want to make sure that these agents, right, they're doing the right thing. And to do that, we also look through the history. We look through where they went to, what they did in like this kind of like database of their past actions. So this is audit trail. Audit trail is like all these loggings, past records of their crime, they're getting like criminal records. Okay, and now we reach model context protocol. Okay, I would say many of us here would have heard of this word, maybe in the news or in industry. It's a really fancy word, but basically it's actually just an open source universal framework for every single company to let their tools be used by AI agents. Like for example, right, Canva, and what else is there? Like Slack, Google Drive, and what else? Figma. Like all these different tools, right? You can imagine, right? Every single company, right, just comes up with their own way of integrating their tools with AI. So just one chatbot, like maybe ChatGPT, right? Whenever you want to connect a new tool to like let ChatGPT, right, your model, right, do something, right, in your apps, you need to learn the new framework by this new company, and then configure the necessary settings in order to use that tool. So it's really a headache for every developer. So instead, everyone just uses the same protocol. And so we follow Anthropic protocol. So it's actually developed by Anthropic people. And it's become like, I think, like a foundation or something to maintain it. Yeah, an open source foundation. So the name is now called Model Context Protocol, MCP. So in fact, actually, when we use it, right, you don't even know that you're using it. Like for example, when I created these slides, right, using Claude Cowork, right now it's just a button. Like if you subscribe to Claude as well, Claude Pro, when you use Claude Cowork, you just like plus icon, you add in all the plugins you want, all the connectors you want. You connect to Canva, you connect to GitHub, connect to whatever app you want. So everything is so invisible now. Like it's so under the hood. Like you don't even need to know that this is actually the thing that that is powering everything, right? So it's MCP. So think of it as just the structure, the format for connecting to third-party apps. And now something also very important. Now that we have different agents, right? Agent 1, Agent 2, Agent 3, Agent 4. Wow, so many agents, right? They can do so many different things for you, right? They do specific tasks, right? Now, what if there's a bigger overarching task that is involving all of these specific subtasks? This is where we use orchestration. When we give a prompt to an orchestrator, which is an agent, this orchestrator, right, it will then think through your prompt, right, using the brain, which is the model that we give it. And then from there, it will route your task, right, based on the specific subtask it needs to do, right? So firstly, it goes to perhaps agent 2. Okay, agent 2 is about research the website, script like some data. Okay, after that, it needs to go to agent 4. Agent 4 is about what? Like maybe storing all these data you scrape, right, into a database, like maybe a SQLite instance or something. And then after that, maybe the next task, right, that you need to do, right, that the agents need to do to complete your prompt, right, is to go to agent 1. Agent 1 is to to drop up some emails, right, to potential leads. So I'm just thinking of like a scenario, like for a marketing company or marketing teams, right, you need to do like lead generation and like write marketing emails. So you go to agent 1. Agent 1 writes all these emails. And then agent 6 or agent 7, they handle all these like follow-up emails or something, right? So if if all your leads, right, they don't reply you. So you can think of it as a huge task, right, comprising of all these smaller tasks. And this is actually a very powerful tool because it means that you no longer need to manually like tell this agent, tell that agent, tell whatever agent to do your task. So this orchestrator will automatically monitor every agent's actions and then route to the next agent when necessary to fulfill your prompt. So this is the whole concept about orchestration. And maybe you have heard of these words as well. I think you can just type inside as well. So examples, right? Right. So there have been a lot of like different frameworks. And what else? LangChain, LangGraph. What else is there? These are all open source frameworks. And then we also have proprietary ones. So I think like cloud managed agents or something. Right. So this is proprietary, I think, for enterprise subscribers. So I think I haven't used managed agents before because you have to pay for that. So I'm just a broke student. So I guess next time then. Yeah, but if I used it before, feel free to share about it. That's why it's like I can't really be sure about the difference between open source, like all these free frameworks and paid frameworks. Then again, yeah, if you have tried before, feel free to share. All right. So this is all about orchestration. Okay. Now we look at the open source landscape for now. Wait, I just make it bigger. Right. So as mentioned just now, right now we have open source, right, and proprietary. Right. Whenever it comes to software, there's always open source version and the proprietary version. Right. Proprietary, you have to pay for them, but open source is free. Right. Just fork it, just clone it from GitHub and use it in your own projects. Right now, there's LangChain, right, LangGraph, right. All these words, okay, they are actually quite technical, but basically, if you heard of these names before, then kudos to you. So these are all frameworks that you can use. We also see later how we actually implement it. And definitely also AutoGen and Ollama. Right. So Ollama, FYI, it's the open source version of model providers. So you can actually download the models for free into your own computer if you can actually download them, because you need NVIDIA GPUs for more powerful models. So check your specs, your PC specs, see what kind of model your computer can support. Right, and then there's also proprietary landscape. Right, so yeah, Anthropic, yeah, I think managed agents or something, that's the name. So Anthropic has their own framework for deploying agents. and also OpenAI definitely. Yeah, and in fact, I think just last week, I'm not sure if it's recent or something, but OpenAI, they just released their agents SDK, and it's quite powerful. Last Tuesday, OpenAI just came down to Malaysia. They had an event with Jelawan Capital and January Capital. I was there also, and many other people as well from different backgrounds. Yeah, so they let us they gave us like a lot of credits, like $250 like API credits, and we just tried it out. Agents SDK and their multimodal agents. So it's really, really, really cool. So you can have different agents. What I did was I just built like an invoice register. So help companies to kind of take in different sources of invoices, WhatsApp, email, PDF. So there are different agents you can imagine. Like one agent, right? It manages WhatsApp messages. One agent, it manages PDFs. One agent, it manages emails. All these different sources coming in, and then they combine together. And then another agent, right? It stores all these invoices into some database. So all this is orchestrated by an agent as well. The agent determines, okay, at which stage, right, this task is at now, and where should it go next. So you can do this with Agents SDK. I haven't tried manage agents. Well, hopefully maybe Entropy can do some event in Malaysia, then give some free credits. All right. Gemini. Okay, Gemini, I haven't tried this before. But I know there's this Google ADK or something, Agent Development Kit, and yeah, they've been doing this all these events as well. Dr. Koo with the Build with AI series of events. So you guys can check it out as well, their own calendar on the what's that? Google Community or something. Community.google.dev. I think that they have their own website, right, to share their Google events. Yeah, so instead of Luma. All right, so this is the proprietary frameworks. Okay, and now this is where we reach a really huge turning point in humanity, OpenClaw. So I hope everyone here has heard of OpenClaw before, right? Or else you may have heard of the news in China, they call it the Longxia craze or something, the lobster craze basically, because OpenClaw, the mascot is a lobster. So I don't know why they use lobster, the founder of this framework. But then basically OpenClaw is an open source agentic AI framework. You can use it with your computer. So instead of, I'm not sure for coding, but then you can use OpenClaw with tools that can control your computer. So reading, writing files, all the basic operations in your computer, editing files, all this, right? You can give these tools to your OpenClaw agent, and then you can just prompt it on Telegram, on WhatsApp, you connect, right? Again, MCP, right? So we are seeing all these different words just now, right, into this bigger picture, right? You connect WhatsApp, Telegram, MCP into OpenClaw, and then your agent can just chat with you like a human being. You can think of it as a human being actually, and then it will do things on your computer. So OpenClaw has been really useful. In fact, before this, yeah, so as shown here as well, it's been growing really fast with a lot of GitHub stars, right? 247K stars. This is really crazy, right? So it's a lot already. If you're a developer, you'll know this as well on GitHub. And then, right, so yeah, that's it. OpenClaw, if you haven't tried it, I really recommend maybe watch some videos on YouTube as well. There are a lot of events as well in KL, like OpenClaw KL. That's a community right now doing events about OpenClaw. So feel free to connect with them. Feel free to join their events and learn more how to use it. So basically, OpenClaw is a popular framework for deploying agents. Okay, and then, oh, okay. I just saw a message. Session next week. Yeah. Yeah. And right now it's full already. You need to be on the wait list. The event page is on Luma. In fact, I can just share the event link with OpenClaw, right? Codex. Yeah, I just got it. Okay. Yeah, let me share inside the inbox. Yep. Okay. So I just put the link inside the messages chat. Yeah, just feel free to check it out, and you never know. Just go and sign up for it. You might get it actually. So because some people may just pull out last minute. right? They may not know. So feel free to join it. And I never joined their events before, except for like some event at Work TTDI before with some Web3 people. Yeah, so just join and see how it goes. Okay. But then right, OpenClaw used to be the most popular tool, but right now, Hermes agent is currently overtaking OpenClaw. All right. There are too many words here. I'm just going to show you what's going on. Wait, I'll just share another Chrome tab. All right. Let me share my screen. All right. Okay, if you can't see my screen, let me know. Okay. Wait, what? X Twitter. What? Okay. Okay. Yeah, by the way, it's like if anyone didn't know about Open Router, right? Feel free to check it out. Open Router is a very popular model provider, right? So their business model is model as a service. So they host all these like popular models, right? Frontier models, right? OpenAI, Anthropic, and also like open source models, free models, everything inside one platform. And you just use one API key to access all these different models. And they just make money by charging a platform fee. Quite expensive, I would say, 5.5%, but really flexible. Yeah, every time you make an API call, so just 5.5%. Okay, but what I want to show you is that Open Router is actually also popular for like deploying agents. So if you check this rankings tab, right, there's this rankings tab, and you also see like how models are doing right now against each other. And this can also be quite helpful, like if you're like choosing models for like your daily workflows, like which kind of model you want. And I want to scroll down to this ranking. Where is it? Okay, there's so many rankings. Okay, this one, top apps. Okay, inside top apps, right? They are basically ranking like different frameworks for productivity, for I don't know, I think like video generation, image generation, or something. Okay, there are so many different rankings, but this particular ranking, right, you can see that Hermes agent is overtaking OpenClaw right now. What I heard is Hermes agent is basically easier to set up than OpenClaw. I'm not too sure. I haven't tried it, but if you have the time, you can just go there and try it out. It's open source, so it's free. Feel free to have fun around it. Yeah, like there should be a reason why it's like taking over OpenClaw. Like right now, it's like processing over 400 billion tokens, like Open Router alone. Yeah, like 4 times like the amount by OpenClaw. So definitely, it's really popular. All right. Okay. I'll go back to the slides now. Dun, dun, dun. All right. Okay. Hybrid slides introduction. Yep. So usually when we actually deploy agents, right, we tend to mix and match different models together, because the thing about AI right now, right, it is so dominated by like a few leading companies, right? You know the names, and so it can get really expensive really fast. Like for example, OpenAI, they just like release like this desktop app for Mac computers. Codex is their coding agent, right? Their coding tool. And I don't know, like the subscription is like what, $200 per month or something. Yeah, it's like a lump sum every month to use Codex to its maximum. I forgot what it's about again, the subscription fees and all. But then basically it's like everything's like getting so expensive in AI. And so usually if you want to work around it, right? Like you want to work smart, right? We usually use different models. So over here, so basically it's like we use the best models, proprietary models, right? Like GPT 5.5, Opus 4.7 for the planning stage. Because in coding, right, for example, in this tool, like coding tool, there's 2 stages. One is planning, one is execution. So for planning, we need to make sure that the plan is like flawless, like so perfect as possible. And then later for execution, right, you do need to spend that much money to actually do it out. So you can you can just give it to a cheaper model, right? Open source Chinese models. DeepSeek V4 Pro is quite good, and QN 3.5 or 3.6 already. I'm not sure the latest one. And then also GRM 5.1. But GRM is a bit more expensive. Yeah. And you can check all these prices on OpenRouter as well. OpenRouter is like, it tracks like all these prices, right, from other providers as well, like GMI Cloud, and I'm not sure about other providers. So just check all their prices, right, on OpenRouter, and just mix and match, right? For execution, just use like cheaper models, and it's actually okay. It's actually okay. Don't need to keep on using Opus or GPT. Like, you're just going to burn your credits really fast. All right, so that's basically about, using hybrid models, hybrid stacks. All right, so okay, for applications, I can't speak for everything. Again, it's like, I think also just a quick background as well. I think I forgot to introduce myself. So currently I'm still an undergraduate, university undergraduate. I just like joined tech events and hackathons around Malaysia and Singapore. I'm going to Singapore as well to resume my studies this July, August. So that is my role, right? So this is just to give an overview of what it's like right now to implement agentic frameworks. I also do my own startup right now. I just started last week. So I do something about accounting compliance in Malaysia. So what I can say is how I'm using agents, right, in accounting, right? Right. So it's proprietary, like, basically, but then like what I can share, I guess like the snippets of it is like how my orchestration framework starts from the ingestion of invoices. So invoices will get processed from different sources, and then they will be centralized in one register. And then this will be in place to prepare for submission to LHDN e-invoice portal. Right. So not sure if everyone knows about this, because the Malaysian government is rolling out this mandatory regulation. So every invoice, right, needs to be accounted for in a central government portal. And it's been a headache for companies, such that our Prime Minister Anwar just announced a second delay, I think like 3 weeks ago, something in April, like April 20 or something. By right, it's like it's supposed to be implemented in January this year, but then it got delayed at the end of this year, and then it got delayed again to the end of next year. So enforcement will only come in 2028 to give more time for SMEs to comply with the new regulation. So what my startup is doing is to automate the whole process of accounting for all invoices, making sure that everything is standardized, the necessary data is extracted, and prepared for the LHDN submission. So that's basically the gist of it. I'm currently working with some Hong Kong VC right now. So this all started from a hacker house last week. And in fact, I'll be meeting them tomorrow morning and see how it goes along the way. So that is my background. So that's what I can share about for agentic applications. And over here, what we see, financial services, DevOps, healthcare, these are also other examples. Right. I haven't got like any representatives from these people to share about these for now. Oh, will someone just join up? What the? All right. Okay, next slide. Right. Okay, and I think, yeah, hi JY Home. Yeah, we are just about to end, bro, like 10 p.m. lah. But glad to have you here as well. This is also recorded lah, so feel free to just watch back lah after this. Okay, and then I think maybe just a quick snippet of what's coming next for agentic AI. I would say, right, actually personally, I would say there's so much happening that like we can't put everything into a single slide. In fact, at the end of January this year, like January 2026, right, there was this conference, Triple AI. It's a research conference, one of the biggest ones around the world. The others being iClear, if you've heard of them, ICLR, and also the biggest one is New Rips. But a lot of them usually, right, they are held in the US, like especially San Francisco, like the West Coast, San Diego. But then in January, there was this one conference that came to Singapore, Triple AI. It's the first time that they came to Asia. And I joined that. And I can say for sure that there were so many different presentations about agentic AI. Agentic AI and physical AI. They also call it embodied AI, robotics. So planning, decision making, AI alignment. So alignment is also another fancy word for like all this like observability, transparency, audit trails, all this. So there are different things that are being developed in engineering AI. And yesterday also, I just came back from Singapore, from AI Engineer Singapore. So that's also another big event. But I think basically, definitely, there's still a lot of this development in multi-agent systems or multi-agent collaboration. Right now, it's all about making sure that when we pass off, right, like different tasks from one agent to another, we make sure that the context is maintained and all this agent to agent or A to A for short. That's what Google calls it. Everything is reliable. All right. And all this, all right. Okay. Yeah, so all this is actually still just yeah, it can't really capture everything, but it's just a basic description of what the whole world is working on as well. Prompt engineering and security. So security is actually the observability, the AI alignment. Okay, right. So this is the end of the slide sharing. For the last 15 minutes, I'm just going to like get everyone to look through some code developed by Nana Labs. So what we do, right, also, if anyone's new to Nana Labs, we have our own GitHub profile and different repositories for our different workshops. And it's open source, free for everyone. Feel free to access it and see what we have there. And we're going to see what it's like to actually implement memory, tools, and the persona, right? These are three of the many things that agents need to have that we mentioned earlier. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, window, reasoning loop. Is it this one? All right. Okay. Right. So if you can't see my screen, just let me know. I'll just make it bigger as well, the code. Oops. Okay. Okay. Okay, so just for context as well, this code base is actually from one of our previous workshops on tool calling. So we got everyone to work in Python to implement an agent, a simple agent to do tool calling. Okay. So we have about 30 minutes left. I'll just go through this code. Oh, all right. Async function is agent. All right. So okay, I'm not sure who has done coding before, who has not done coding before among us right now, but I'm going to go through everything in this file step by step to make sure that everyone is on track to understand the high level concepts. Okay, so especially for coders, right? So you know that there's a main function to run like the logic in this file. So for non-coders, basically just know that the main function is like the overall function to run the agent. Now for the agent to even be an agent, so like what we saw earlier, there is the configuration, like the memory, the tools, the persona. And how do we do this? So if we go to the agent config here, right, this part that I highlighted, I'll just make it bigger. All right. So this config, right, you can see we will first define the model. So I'm using Mistral here, by the way. So that's why the model is Mistral. Mistral small latest. So actually, right, all of this is actually following the different SDKs of companies. So different companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, Mistral, they will have their own specific names for their different models. Like for OpenAI, for example, GPT 5.5, GPT 5.4, 5.3, 5.2, all the way back. I don't know the whole list, but then you can look through. There's this documentation, right? Every website, every company, right? They have their own documentation online. So look through and know the model that you want. So we want to define the model name and then system prompt. Okay, so this is where we implement the persona. So whenever we want to implement an agent, right, you need to give it a persona. And this is where the persona comes in. Right, so system prompt usually is always a string. Because it's a model, right? It's an LM. It will process your string. It will know what you're saying. So it's just a string system prompt. Right, for now, we just want to make it that it's a helpful assistant, answer questions, think through first before answering. All right. So it can be anything, the kind of like person that you want it to be. And also just a quick reminder again, this is a very basic implementation of an agent, right? So if you use OpenClaw, Hermes agent, right, there are also more streamlined workflow to implement agent, right? More user-friendly, I would say. This one is already more leaning towards developers already. Yeah, because I'm a developer myself, so I do it inside the code. So we write the prompt out, we define the persona of the agent. So basically just get the general concept of it. When we define the persona, right, just basically you start with you are, okay? You are what? The kind of person, okay? You are this, you are that, like that. Okay. So this is where we implement the persona. And then the tools, right? So you may wonder where are the tools, right? Inside this config is not here. But then this is where the registry comes in. So the config is the, for coders, if you know this. So arguments, right? The first argument inside the main function, you give in the configuration, the settings are basically, and then also the registry. So this is where the tools come in. And what is this tool registry? You may wonder. It's actually it's actually a data structure that we define ourselves. So think of it, right? In simple words, it's just like an arsenal of weapons, right? An entire set of things, right? The agent can call from, which tool it needs to use. And we define this on our own. And this is actually here. It's quite far above. Oh, sorry. It's, yeah, another file. We're calling it from another file. Okay, tool registry. So basically, we are defining all the different tools, right? Inside this set, inside like a basket or something. And the agent can call different tools from this registry. And how we implement it is actually a map. So a hash map. Okay, so this is quite technical already, but basically think of it as like a collection of things. And then we store every tool, right, by name, and then its function. Store everything inside a collection. So this is where the tools come in. All right. Okay, back to the main function. And then once we have all these config, right, then we can call the agent now. So we implement the function run agent. So where we call the agent is inside the run agent function. And this is actually following the usual standards when we call agents. When we want to implement an agent, right, this is where we put in the user prompt. What do you want to tell the agent to do? So this is the user prompt, the string here. So here it says, I want current weather of Kuala Lumpur in Celsius. So you can tell also now that the tool, right, inside the registry, one of them, it is definitely something about getting like the temperature, getting the like some geographic data from third-party sources or something. So that is one of the tools inside the registry. Okay, so three arguments when we run the agent. Again, this is just a basic implementation, right? The way you implement an agent, it can be different also, but generally the same principles apply, right? So you have the tools, you have the user prompt, and then also the persona, right, in the config. Okay, about 5 more minutes. We'll just go through the run agent function and then we're done. So it actually goes inside the run agent function. Okay, so this is the run agent function. Okay, so I also write this code inside the same file. So as we saw earlier, you have the user prompt, right? It's also called user input here. User prompt, and then the config, right? So the persona of the agent, and then the tools, the hands and the feet that you're giving to the agent. Put inside all these for the agent, and then you initialize the agent. So when you initialize it, right, you need to give it the brain. So you have the tools already, that's the hands and the feet. But then where is the brain? So the brain is when you initialize the model. Right now I'm using Mistral. So Mistral, and then this is following the SDK, the standard from Mistral. And a lot of them, they are actually basically the same. OpenAI, Anthropic, or any model provider is more or less the same format, right? New client, right? The company name or something, the library name, and then also definitely your API key. So do need to remember this. You do need to remember this, right? You can just always refer back to their documentation to know how to implement a brain, right? Add the brain to the model. Sorry, add the brain to the agent. Okay, and then some further things as well. And then this one is also very important. This is the context. Right, just now we talked a lot about the context, right? The context for the agent, how we actually implement it. So this is how we actually implement it. This is actually a standard thing inside the company's SDK. When you see their documentation, right? Like for Mistral, for example, also, messages is a standard thing. Right? Just think of it as a thing. It's a standard thing inside running agents. So you initialize the array. It's just a collection. Basically, think of it as a collection of all the messages you ever had with the agent, right? Number one is, and the first one would never change. The first message will always be the persona. So in this case, we call it the system prompt. That's the more fancy word for persona. The persona of the agent. Who is this agent, right? Graphic designer, software developer, singer even, or F1 driver, right? So the first message is always the persona. And then the second message will be your user prompt. And from then onwards, you will keep on adding message after message, right? The more you talk to your agent, right, you keep on continuing the conversation. Every single message will be stored inside the messages array. And then it will have more and more context to work better on the next message. And also its tools, its actions. So this is the context. How we actually add the messages and what kinds of messages will it actually produce? That will be another day already. Yeah, the actual implementation. But basically, this is the general concept. So give the agent the context. The messages are the context. All right. So 1 more minute left. I'm not going to continue anymore. Right. So promise 10 p.m. will end. And this is how we do it for Nano Labs. Right. So thanks everyone for joining. If any more questions, you can always watch back this recording and feel free to ask in Discord or WhatsApp. usually we use WhatsApp lah, like for this kind of like Q&As like that. Yeah, thanks so much, man. I'll just share the recording later on as well. Bye, everyone.